Alright, here we are again, trying the hardest FNAF challenge ever in FNAF 3. Because even though this says, hey, I got to night 4, I botched it last time. I lost on night 2, technically. So, the way this custom challenge works is, I have to read a book out loud without stopping. Today it's going to be Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. I have to read out loud without stopping. And if I stop, I lose. The whole point is, let's just see how far I can get. The goal is to beat the game, but I have to do it while reading out loud. So it makes it absurdly hard because I can't barely ever look at the screen. So let's see if we can't do a little bit better than we did last time. Into the pit. The dead possum's still there. Oswald was looking out the passenger window at the gray on the side of the road. Somehow, it looked even deader than it had yesterday. Last night's rain hadn't helped. Also, 5 seconds of not being able to read. Nothing looks deader than a dead possum, Oswald's dad said. What's that? Except this town, Oswald mumbles, looking at the boarded up storefronts and the display windows, which were displaying nothing but dust. What's that? His dad said. He was already wearing the stupid red vest they put him in when he worked at the deli counter at the snack space. Oswald wished he'd wait to put it on until he dropped him off at school. This town, Oswald said, louder this time.
Hi.
This town looks deader than a dead possum. His dad laughed. Well, I don't guess I can argue with that. 3 years ago, when Oswald was 7, there had actually been stuff to do here. A movie theater, a game and card store, and an ice cream shop with an amazing waffle cone. But then the mill had closed. The mill had basically been the reason the town existed. Oswald's dad had lost his job, so had hundreds of other kids' moms and dads. Lots of families had moved away, including Oswald's best friend and his family. Oswald's family had stayed because his mom's job at the hospital was steady, and they didn't want to move far away from Grandma. So Dad ended up with a part-time job at the snack space, which paid $5 an hour less than he'd made at the mill, and Oswald watched the town die. One business after another shut down, like the organs in a dying body, because nobody had the money for movies or games or amazing waffle cones anymore. Are you excited it's the last day of school? Dad asked. It was one of those questions adults always asked. How was your day, and did you brush your teeth? Oswald shrugged. I guess, but there's nothing to do with Ben gone. School's boring, but home's boring too. When I was 10, I wasn't home in the summer until I got called home for supper, Dad said. I rode my bike and played baseball and got into all kinds of trouble. Are you saying I should get in trouble? Oswald said. No, I'm saying you should have fun. Dad pulled into the drop-off line at the Westbrook Elementary. Have fun. You made it sound so easy. Oswald walked through the school's double doors and ran smack into Dylan Cooper, the last person he wanted to see. Oswald was apparently the first person Dylan wanted to see, though. Because his mouth spread in a wide grin. Dylan was the tallest kid in the 5th grade and clearly enjoyed looming over his victims. Well, if it isn't Oswald the Ocelot, he said, his grin spreading and possibly wider. That one never gets old, does it? Oswald walked past Dylan and was relieved when his tormentor chose not to follow him. When Oswald and his 5th grade classmates were preschoolers, there was a cartoon on one of the little kid channels about a big pink ocelot named Oswald. As a result, Dylan and his friends started calling him Oswald the Ocelot on the first day of kindergarten and had never stopped. Dylan was the kind of kid who'd pick on anything that made you different. If it hadn't been Oswald's name, it would have been his freckles or his cowlick. The name-calling had gotten much worse this year in U.S. history when they learned the man who shot John F. Kennedy was named Lee Harvey Oswald. Oswald would rather be an ocelot than an assassin. Since it was the last day... Okay. And I can stop in the between 9 bits. So what I was trying to do there was I was trying to get okay at clicking without really looking at the screen, because the thing is, I kind of have to get good at that for this to work. In all of them, I kind of have to get good at just doing the things to do the nights without actually looking at the screen. Because, like in FNAF 2, I had to like put the mask down every time without being able to look at where the thing was, and I was able to do it on instinct because I played FNAF 2 so much, but like, that's kind of what I have to deal with, though. I have to just try to get good at, I can't get out! Yeah, I have to basically try to do it without looking at the screen, and it sucks. The name calling here in U.S. history, when they learned to be Harvey Oswald, since it was the last day of school, there was no attempt at doing any kind of real work. Miss Meekham had announced the day before that students were allowed to bring their electronics as long as they took responsibility for anything getting lost or broken. The announcement meant that no work would be done towards any educational activities of any kind. Oswald didn't have any modern electronics. Sure, there was one laptop at home. There was one laptop at home. There was a laptop at home, but the whole family shared it, and he wasn't allowed to bring it to school. He had a phone, but it was the saddest, most out-of-date model imaginable. Most out-of-date model imaginable, and he didn't want to take it out of his pocket because he knew any kid who saw it would make fun of how pathetic it was. So while other kids played games on their tablets or handheld consoles, Oswald sat. After sitting became intolerable, he took out a notebook and pencil and started to draw. He wasn't the best artist in the world. But there was enough images that were identifiable. There was a certain cartooning, I swear. Okay. The best thing he get lost in it. The best thing he could do about drawing, though, was get lost in it. And it was like he fell into the paper and became part of the scene he was creating. It was a welcome escape. He didn't know why, but lately he had been drawing mechanical animals, bears, bunnies, and birds, oh my. He imagined them being human-sized and moving with the jerkiness of robots in an old science fiction movie. They were furry on the outside. They were furry on the outside. But the fur covered a hard metal skeleton filled with gears and circuits. Sometimes he drew the animals' exposed skeletons or sketched them with fur peeled back to show some of the mechanical workings underneath. It was a creepy effect, like seeing a person's skull peeking out from beneath their skin. Oswald was so immersed in his drawings that he was startled when Mrs. Meekin turned off the lights to show a movie. Movies were always a teacher's final act of desperation on the day before break, a way to keep the kids quiet and relatively still for an hour and a half before... A way to keep the kids still for an hour and a half. A way to keep the kids still for an hour and a half before setting them loose for the summer. The movie Miss Meekin chose was, in Oswald's opinion, too babyish for a room full of 5th graders. It was about a farm of talking animals, and he had watched it before, but he watched it again, really. What else did he have to do? What else did he have to do? At recess, kids still sit around tossing a ball back and forth and talking about what they were going to do all summer. I'm going to football camp. I'm going to basketball camp. I'm going to hang out at my neighborhood pool. I'm going to hang out at my neighborhood pool. I'm going to stay with my grandparents in Florida. Oswald sat on a bench and listened. For him, there would be no camps and no pool memberships and no trips because there was no money. And so he'd draw pictures. He'd draw pictures, play his old games he'd already beaten 1,000 times, and maybe go to the library. If Ben were still there, it would be different. Even if he was just doing the same old stuff, they'd be doing it together, and Ben could always make Oswald laugh. Riffling through video game characters are doing perfect impersonation of one of their teachers. He and Ben had fun no matter what they did. But now a summer without Ben yawned before him, wide and empty. Man, this night's a whole lot longer than night one. Most days, Oswald's mom worked from 2 p.m. until 12 a.m. So his dad had to make dinner. Usually, they got by on frozen meals like lasagna, or chicken pot pie, or cold cuts and potato salad from the snack space. From the snack space deli that were good enough to eat but not good enough to sell. When Dad did cook, it was usually things that required boiling water. Well, Dad got their dinner ready. Oswald's job was to feed Jinx, their very spoiled black cat. Oswald often thought that he used...
Hello?
Oswald thought that he used the same amount of cooking skill in opening Jinx's can of stinky cat food as his dad used it in their dinner preparations. Tonight, Oswald and Dad were sitting down... plates of canned corn, a box of blue mac and cheese, and plates of blue box mac and cheese, and some canned corn that his dad had zapped in the microwave. It was a very yellow meal. I know. You know, I was thinking, Dad said, squirting ketchup onto his macaroni and cheese. Yeah, why does he? Oh my gosh. I promise, this is a whole lot harder than it actually looks like it is. Yay, I'm Bonnie now. Let's go get ripped apart by the purple guy. And my dog's barking. So Oswald spends his summer doing art. What do you guys do over your summers? I wrote a novel. I wrote 2 novels, actually, but who's keeping count? Come on, get out of the room! Gosh. I can never do it on PC, but I've been able to do it on mobile before. Well, I've already done better than the last time. Why did he do that, Oswald? I know you're old enough to stay home by yourself some, but I don't like the idea of you staying by yourself. I don't like this the whole day while your mom and I are at work. I was thinking you could ride into town with me in the mornings. I could drop you off at the library. You could read, surf the net. Oswald couldn't let this one slide. How out of date could his dad be? Nobody said surf the net anymore. Nobody said surf the net anymore. No one says surf the net anymore, Dad. They do now because I just said it. Dad forked up some macaroni. Anyway, I thought you could hang out in the library in the mornings. When you get hungry, you could head over to Jeff's Pizza for a slice and a soda pop. For a slice and a soda. I could pick you up there once my shift is over at 3. Oswald considered for a moment. Jeff's Pizza was kind of weird.
Hello?
Jeff's Pizza was kind of weird, just like this challenge. It wasn't dirty exactly, but it was run down. The vinyl on the booth seats had been ripped, had been repaired with duct tape, and the plastic letters had fallen off the menu board above the counter, so the listed toppings include pepperoni and I'm an ogre. Okay. It was good that Jeff's Pizza used to be something bigger and better than it was now. There were tons of unused force plates and lots of unused electrical outlets along the base of the walls. Also, on the far wall was a small stage, even though there were no performances there.
Hi.
Even though there were no performances there. Not even so much as a karaoke night. It was a strange place, sad, and not what it had once been, like the rest of the town. That being said, the pizza was decent, and more important, it was the only pizza place in town. It was the only pizza place in town. It was the only pizza place in town.
Hi.
It was the only pizza place in town if you didn't count the kind of frozen food department at the snack space. The few good restaurants in town, including Gino's Pizza and Marco's Pizza, which unlike Jeff's had real pizza maker names, had closed their doors not long after the mill had. So you'll give me money for the pizza? Oswald asked, since Dad was so you'll give me money for the pizza since Dad's job loss. Oswald's allowance had dwindled to practically nothing. Dad smiled, a kind of sad smile. It seemed. Oswald's son, we're bad off, but we're not so bad off that I can't spot you $3.50 for a slice and a soda. Okay, Oswald said it was hard to say no to a warm, gooey cheese slice. It was hard. Since it wasn't a school night, and he wouldn't be again for quite some time.
Hi.
Since it wasn't a school night, it wouldn't be again for quite some time. Oswald stayed up after Dad went to bed and watched old Japanese monster movie, along with Jinx curled up purring on his lap. Oswald had seen a lot of B-grade Japanese horror films, but this one, Xanderex versus Mechan Xanderex, okay, sure, was new to him. As always, Xanderex had just looked like a giant dragon thing, but Mecha Xanderex reminded him of the mechanical animals he'd drawn and stripped of their fur. He laughed at the movie's special effects. The main Xanderex destroyed was clearly a toy, and at how the actor's lip did not match the... Okay, it's Freddy. The actor's lip movements didn't match the dubbed in English. Somehow, though, he always found himself rooting for Xanderex. Zildra. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I'm reading fast. Even though he was just a guy in a rubber suit, somehow he managed to have a lot of personality. In bed, he tried to count his blessings. He didn't have Ben. But he had monster movies. And he had monster movies. And the library, and lunchtime pizza slices. And lunchtime pizza slices. It was better than nothing, but it still wasn't going to be enough to keep him going all summer. Please, he wished. Oswald was, please let something interesting happen. You're gonna wish you didn't say that. Oswald woke up to the smell of coffee and bacon. The coffee he could do without, but the bacon smelled amazing. Breakfast meant time with his mom, often the only time he got with her, until the weekend. After one necessary stop, he hurried down the hall to the kitchen. Well, look at that! My rising 6th grader has risen. Mom was standing over the stove in her fuzzy pink bathrobe, her blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, flipping. Oh yum, were those pancakes? Oh yum, were those pancakes? Hi Mom, she opened her arms. I demand a morning hug! Oswald sighed like it annoyed him, but he went over and he hugged her. It was funny. With Dad, he always said that he was too old for hugs. He always said he was too old for hugs, but he never turned down his mom's open arms. Maybe it was because he didn't get to spend much time with her during the week. While he and Dad spent so much time together, they sometimes got on each other's nerves. Ah! You guys have no idea how hard this is. I'm hyper-focused on two things at once. It takes a lot out of you. Hey, but this has been the best run out of all of them. On FNAF 1, I only got to night 3, and FNAF 2, I died on night 2, and in the last one, I died on night 4, but I lost on night 2, so... Yay! Come on! Come on, Chica. We're gonna fight the Purple Man. We're gonna fight him! He mangled you. I have a funny feeling I'm gonna die on night 4, though. Night 4 is hard enough without it. He knew Mom missed him. He knew Mom missed him. He knew Mom missed him, and he felt bad for having. He knew Mom missed him, and he felt... And he felt bad for having...
Hello?
Okay. He knew Mom missed him, and he felt bad for having to work such long hours, but he also knew that since Dad's job at the snack space was just part-time, Mom's long hours were most of the reason the bills were getting paid. Mom always said that adult life was a fight between time and money. The money. the money you earned to spend on bills and necessities, the less time you got to spend with your family. It was a difficult balance. Oswald sat down at the kitchen table and thanked his mom when she poured his orange juice.
Hello?
And she poured his orange juice. First day of summer break, huh? Mom went back to the stove and scooped a pancake with her spatula. He probably should have tried to sound more enthusiastic, but he couldn't muster.
Hi.
But he couldn't muster the energy. Neither can I. She slid a pancake onto his plate and then served him 2 strips of bacon.
Hi.
2 strips of bacon. Not the same without Ben, huh? He shook his head. He wasn't going to cry. Mom ruffled his hair. I know, it's a bummer, but hey, maybe a new friend will move into town. Oswald looked at her hopeful face. Why would anyone come here? Okay, I see your point, Mom said.
Hi.
Mom said, piling on another pancake. Piling on another pancake. Piling on another pancake. Fuck, I know. No? Okay, he's here. Piling on another pancake! Maybe, but I doubt it. Maybe, but I doubt it. Why would anyone come here? These pancakes are great, though. Mom smiled and ruffled his hair again. Well, I've got to get going for me anyway. Do you want more bacon? If you do, you'd better grab it before your dad gets in here and vacuums it all up. Sure! It was Oswald's,
Hi.
It was Oswald's what? No.
Hello?
And I've lost! Case in point. It's hard enough trying to find Springtrap when he does that when I'm not being distracted by having to read a book out loud at the same time. And my dog's barking. Of course he is. It's a FNAF tradition on my channel. Well, that was my single best run out of all 3. Now, actually, it was in the hardest game to do this in, so I feel pretty satisfied with that. So, thank you for watching. If there's enough interest, I might do this in FNAF 4. Only if I think there's enough interest. Only if I think there's enough interest will I consider doing this in FNAF 4, because FNAF 4, this would be hell. Doing this would be hell. It would suck. So yeah, if you want me to do it in FNAF 4, you better hit that like button so I know you want to see more of it. Alright? Or tell me in a comment. Or subscribe. Whatever way, tell me you want more, and I will do it in FNAF 4 if there's enough interest. That's it, though, for now. Go check out me doing this go check out my first attempt doing it in FNAF 3 if you want to see something pretty pitiful. I do think I've redeemed myself here. Go check out me doing this in FNAF 1 and FNAF 2. I'll link all the videos down below. And go check out my One Life Challenge FNAF series, where I try to beat the games without dying a single time. I've only done it in FNAF 2, but hey. So anyway, I will thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video, whatever that ends up being. Maybe FNAF Plus if that releases. We can hope.